If you notice that we see that there are 50 slides, and David told me that I have 15 minutes, yeah? So I'm not going to drive you to sleep or to whatever with 50 slides. But anyway, my name is Linus Mofor. I'm standing in for my colleague Ruth Keppener, who was supposed to be here, but owing to circumstances beyond his control, he couldn't make it, so I had to step in. And talking about Ruth, and talking about pathways, I remember a scenario he narrated to us a couple of weeks ago. He was supposed to attend a meeting in Geneva from London, so they were in the flight, and they were mainly British people going to Geneva. And when they came out at the airport, because the flow there is different from the flow here, people were going, whoever was going ahead started going onto the conveyor that was supposed to help you go there faster, but it was the one going opposite because they just went on to the left. But because somebody has gone on, the other people kept following, and everybody noticed that it was going the other way, but nobody bothered, they just carried on going. So I think this issue of pathways is something along those type of lines, that sometimes we get locked in pathways, and we know it is against where we want to be, we just carry on going. Okay, so let me say a little bit about IRENA. It's still a new organization, so very few people know about it. So I'm sorry if you have seen these slides before, but on many occasions people keep asking what is IRENA and so on. It is the only international treaty-based organization aimed at promoting the widespread use of renewable energies. It acts as a voice, the hub, and the advisory for renewables. The Director General is Adnan Amin, who is also a member of the Secretary General's high-level group on sustainable energy for all. Our headquarters is located in Abu Dhabi, so again, it's a very good thing. Abu Dhabi, headquarters for renewable energy. You know, the people who produce some of the large amount of oil, and it's headquarters for renewable, yeah, but they pay a lot to support IRENA. And people ask, you know, it's good for us, one, it's good for them. It's the first time you have an international organization based in the Middle East. It's good for them because of prestige and other things. But as Kevin said earlier on, it's all about economics. People like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and these countries are going into massive renewable energy projects, not because they have so much money they like to waste it. In fact, they are going into it because it makes a lot of business sense. Oil prices are very high. Most of their energy supply is from fossil fuels. So if you can generate energy from renewables at an affordable price, then you save expensive oil that you sell to get more revenue. So it's economic sense. And so we are happy that our headquarters is in Abu Dhabi. But IRENA has been around since 20 years ago. It was a German idea by somebody called Hermann Schaffer, sorry. And it carried on for a very long time, and when in 2009 the preparatory commission was formed, Germany was hoping to host it, but United Arab Emirates came in last minute with lots of money, lots of influence, and it's hosted in Abu Dhabi. And I think as a compromise, we have the technology center in Bonn, and Austria also wanted to host it. And again, as a compromise, we're supposed to have a liaison office in Vienna, but that is not there yet. Okay, it's growing membership. As of this month, we have 101 members, 100 states and the European Union, and there are remaining 57 signatories who are still in the process of accession. And you can see the map there shows where our membership is, and you can see most of our members are in Africa and in small island developing states. The United States of America is a member of IRENA, even though they didn't sign Kyoto, but it's a big member of IRENA. UK is a big member, and so many other countries are very strong members of IRENA. So again, I won't want to bore you with this because everybody knows we hear this day in, day out. We need energy, we've said this earlier on in the morning. So I will just flash through the slides, and maybe we'll catch one or two expressions that Africa, 15% of the world population, about 5% for the energy use. Total installed capacity is equivalent to the installed capacity of Argentina, the whole continent. Very low electrification rate. The consumption is very, very low. If you include South Africa, then in sub-Saharan Africa, you're talking about maybe 620 kilowatt hours per capita and so on. If you take away South Africa, it's even much lower, 100 and something kilowatt hours. Very, very low. The population is growing, the economy is growing, urbanization is increasing. So therefore, there are huge energy implications for Africa. And where is this energy going to come from? When I was in UNIDO, I was involved with the Vienna Energy Forum, and we had a minister from Cameroon. By the way, I'm from Cameroon. And he was part of the panel, and he was saying to the participants, look guys, I can hear what you say about low carbon energy and so on, but I'm facing elections next year. The World Cup is happening next year. The people in the remote villages want to watch television to see the World Cup, the national team and everything. If I have to wait for this expensive low carbon energy, I will lose the elections. I will have people rioting, there is no food and so on. I will go for least cost. And in fact, he was serious because the president told him that I want this energy issue sorted out, and he implemented 100 megawatts in 1 year of thermal plants distributed across the country. But those were supposed to be emergency solutions, but they will become permanent solutions. Because the focus is not about how we make clean, low carbon energy cost competitive. We don't do it from a philanthropic point of view. It has to be purely from an economic basis. That if we can drive the cost down, and therefore it becomes obvious that if you want to go for a project, you will go for renewables, then it's not going to solve it. But it's not going to be solved based on government vote-winning issues or development aid and so on. It has to be purely competitive. And that low energy consumption in Africa means that Africa has got a good opportunity to leapfrog into the low carbon energy development path, or pathways. Should I say pathways? Yeah, not pathway. Some of the pathways could be very much a low carbon, and then because they're not locked into the kind of infrastructure that the rest of the developed economies are in. But the sad situation is that Africa is very highly endowed with renewables, as we all know. But again, we all know the statistics. They are not good reading. Very low energy access rates and so on. Again, you know these numbers, I won't bore you. But if you see North Africa has got very high access rates, but it's not renewable, it's not low carbon, it's not necessarily low carbon. Yeah? But most of these countries, they want to provide energy, whichever is the least option, that's what they will provide. And they are endowed, so they provide the energy and they solve the problem. Sub-Saharan Africa is endowed with lots of renewables, they haven't got the money to invest, so our objective is to try to drive down the cost of renewables so that it becomes the choice of option, and therefore we can address the access issues. Again, you can see the generation capacity taken from the PLAS database. Renewables, very, very, apart from hydro, very, very low investments. And this report from the Bloomberg Energy Finance, again, when investments were increasing in most parts of the world, in Africa, they were hardly noticeable. But that is where the opportunities, the needs are. So how do we address the political economy issues so that the investments are made in Africa to take advantage of the fact that they are not locked in these high carbon energy systems? Again, we all know these barriers, so I wouldn't bog you down with them, bore you to sleep with them. This study by UNEP, again, you can see some of the issues. It's not just about technology, it's these the political economy issues. Yeah? When they ask private sector people, what are the issues that are of importance to you, they were talking about political, economical, and legal capacity, effective law enforcement, so governance issue, currency risk, and so on. These are the things that are stopping people, investors, which, from our viewpoint, they are the ones that are going to make energy access. Previously, I used to be involved in trying to develop renewable energy projects. You develop a project of 400 kilowatts in some country, and you do another one here and there. That is not going to solve the problem. We need mega and gigawatts of energy provision from using low carbon energy systems. And that has to come from the private sector. It will not come from development assistance, it will not come from public sector. So what IRENA is trying to do then to help address some of these issues, with a focus on Africa now. In July 2011, IRENA had this high-level consultative group, a forum on energy, which was held in Abu Dhabi, and it brought together 25 ministers from African countries and other important stakeholders. And at the end of the forum, they came up with what is called the Abu Dhabi Communique on Renewable Energy. And basically that communique says what African countries and stakeholders would like IRENA to do in promoting the pathways to the sustainable industrialization of Africa, or sustainable development of Africa. Again, it is on the web, you can find it on the web. If you just type Abu Dhabi Communique, it's there, what they wanted. So I'll quickly now give you some examples of the kind of work that IRENA is doing on the ground to try to address these political economy issues about promoting widespread use of renewables in Africa. Costings, it's been mentioned quite a bit throughout the day about costings. Again, we've done a lot of costing analysis for hydropower, biomass, solar, PV, concentrated solar power, and wind. Most of the data that we've analyzed so far is based on developed economies. When it comes to Africa, having data is very difficult. The projects that are on the ground are mainly development assistance projects. They have very high transaction costs. They distort the real cost, and therefore to make the business case is a bit difficult. Okay, so but we are going to be working on this over and over to try and get more and more representative data to get a good view of the performance of renewable energy technologies. We also do lots of work in various countries, particularly in Africa, on renewable readiness assessments. And these are country-led, so countries come to us and they want us to help them to look how realistic is it for them to go to exploit their renewable energy resources. So that's very big. We also have the Abu Dhabi Fund for International Development, which is part of the bidding that United Arab Emirates put in to host the organization. They promised to put in $50 million every year for 7 years. Therefore, this fund is $350 million. When you look into the literature, we need billions of dollars to invest. Yeah? So your question is, how are we going to build on these kind of funds to be to the level of billions that can actually help to sponsor projects on the ground on a purely private sector, commercial basis, profit basis? One of the very important areas as well is promoting local content and value addition and value participation. Again, there are some issues there because some funding organizations will say we don't want to insist on local content. Other organizations, maybe the African Development Bank, for example, don't mind if you insist that there should be local content. Some countries like South Africa, they are putting targets to say we must have local content, is it 25% rising to 75% by some time period and so on. So those are the kind of issues that if we don't address them, no matter what you say about investments and so on, you cannot tackle the low carbon energy challenge or pathways that we need for sustainable development. Local content also brings in economic development because it creates jobs, it creates the capacity base that we need to develop further and so on. But if we don't address this type of issues, we will not get the pathways that we need. We are also doing lots of studies on energy planning and modeling of RE penetration in the existing power pools in Africa, the West Africa power pool, the South Africa power pool, and the East Africa power pool. And we're trying to model scenarios of the possible penetration of renewables in those power as a way of engaging and adopting the low carbon energy pathways. Then we'll do other things. Again, we're just working on Africa resource mapping, wind, solar atlas, and we're also doing the biomass hydropower potential mapping. Technology transfer, particularly South-South technology transfer, we're promoting that. We're looking at what lessons can be learned from Brazil, in Africa in the area of bioenergy, the good lessons, the bad ones, and so on. So these are the kind of things we're looking at. We also do some studies on the process of the African power sector. Again, looking at different scenarios so that there's no one pathway. If we go this way, then this is what we need, this is what we need, and this is how we can get there, who has to do what, when, and so on. We also have country profiles for various countries, the energy profile and the energy demand assessment, very difficult to assess. Energy demand, there's a lot of suppressed or latent demand that to be able to address the energy issue, you have to be able to capture that very accurately. And we also are very much involved with the renewables in cities, because that's a very important area. I mentioned earlier that the urbanization is increasing, cities are growing, and there are opportunities for bringing low carbon energy systems in cities. Okay. So let me take you back a little bit. Before, as David said, I was in the university. I was doing some research, trying to look at energy and material recovery options from agro waste, because I saw there was a lot of opportunities there, and that there could be the opportunity for zero waste. So I was embarking on a number of research projects, and we saw this project in Kenya. It was done by UNDP and some local NGO, where with 2 cows, the 2 non-grazing cows, they provided enough biogas to provide even motive power to provide the energy needs of the family. Okay, these 2 cows are non-grazing. They have a small chopper there, which is powered by the biogas from there. That is a solution that works, but then why is it not common? Political economy reasons, why is it not common? This is feasible, it's affordable, it's very, very affordable, but it doesn't happen. In Cameroon, where I come from, there are so many agro-processing sectors: palm oil, coffee, timber, cocoa, rice, you name it, they're all there. And they all produce lots of biomass residues, which are very good for energy generation, diversification of income, and energy security. But yeah, look at what they use to cook the palm oil at the cooperative level, in a small cooperative. And look at the amount of biomass residues that they are producing. And they have to get rid of it by burning it openly. In some of the cooperatives that are near the highways, sometimes it's a big risk because the smoke is all over the place, the visibility is very low. Now this is a sustainable pathway solution, which is, is it because of the politics? Is it because, and look at the palm oil production, technology adaptation. These guys have got an old Toyota engine, and they're using diesel to fire it so as to press the palm oil. And look at this huge amount of biomass that could be used to generate energy and increase their income, economic well-being, their health, and everything. But it's not being done, so you ask yourself why? And more cooking of the palm oil. And more, they could have used the energy from these biomass residues to power that. But it's human power, so it keeps the young boys in employment. Same situation there. The effluent from the palm oil production, you can produce lots of biogas from that to help cook the palm and make money, generate electricity, clean development, low carbon energy system. But it's not happening. Why? Is it because of the political economy or what? At the bigger scale, the same thing. There's a big plantation. They're running a diesel generator, and they were used to generate all their energy, but now they're buying 25% from the grid. When you buy 25% from the grid, you're preventing the supplier to supply energy to households. Same in Kenya, sisal waste, sugar waste. We went to one of the sugar factories. They had to stop production because they couldn't manage the waste at the other end. It's incredible. But then you look at this company, Mumia Sugar Company in Kenya. They did a CDM project here. Over 100,000 CERs that they did and sold. At the time when the CERs were very high, I think probably $19 or whatever they had for it. They had all their energy, their own energy needs, and they had a power purchase agreement where they're supplying to this, at the moment, more than 26 megawatts to the Kenyan national grid. So the guy is selling sugar, he's selling carbon credits, he's selling electricity. Now this is the kind of system that we need to promote and make happen. It is possible, it makes economic sense, but the reality is that the political economy on the ground doesn't allow it to happen. We have to ask ourselves why. So hopefully some of these pathway options we can look at how these very economic, private sector-based systems that need to work don't work. We don't need development aid to do this thing. Development aid should come to help people take advantage of the energy that is supplied to them, not to give energy, because development aid, in my opinion, will never tackle the energy access issue. Private sector economic energy supply will solve the problem. Thank you, and sorry I had to rush.